Good morning. Good
Great
morning.
morning to you, TK.
Good morning to you, sir. Morning, everybody out there. I'm TK, and this is the Kills. TK and the Kills.
TK and the Kills.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
You remember when you were like, I'm going to start doing a live show. You want to do it with me? I was like, sure. The people need to hear what we have to say. And there might be people.
And I think I was like, you know what? I'll do all the prep work. You're gonna go into this. You're gonna be so well prepared, and then I've not prepared at all today. So,
You know, we're here. We're doing a thing.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Behind the camera today, we have Christina and we have Macy. As always, they have a segment for us. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Christina has like an NPR voice. Good morning.
And good
Welcome
morning.
to
My husband and I
Tuesday,
have been told that
April
we're going to
16th.
be great at reading our books to our children when
Oh
we're
yeah, that's a
real adults with children.
That is like a man. That's a
Well, you're not real
Go to
adults
sleep.
yet?
No,
Why not?
because we don't have children.
Okay.
That's mostly a joke.
That's fair.
yeah.
My theory is you age about 10 years when you get married, and then you age another 10 years when you have kids, just immediately.
I have gotten a couple more gray hairs.
Yep.
You have gray hairs.
Yeah, I'm in my 30s. It's normal.
I don't have hairs. So I mean, there's gray in here, I guess.
My hair's
told-
doing the migration.
I told my kids yesterday that I was going to grow my hair out, and it's a thing I do to really make them nervous. And they
What would you look like if
hated
you
it.
grew your hair out some? What would that be?
I fear that I would look exactly the same. It would just be slightly fuzzy.
When did you go cue ball? When was that decision made?
I went hard. So my dad's bald, and he always did the Baptidome. He always did this, and then like there's a wispy thing here, and
The Baptidome.
the Baptidome. Yeah,
good.
it's like super. I don't know why it's Baptist, but it is. And he did this, and yeah, he would always kind of like fancy it up, dress it up with like this, which is like high school baseball coach. I don't know why this.
The goat? Just
The
like
goat,
thick
just
goat?
this, and then he would do like sometimes he would do this, and but back when he was preaching, he would just go clean, 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 right?
Okay.
Well, in my late 20s, after marriage, after I think kid number one, I was like, I'm not going gentle into that good night.
Okay.
I'm going if I see a hair in the sink, I'm out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so one day I saw like some hair in the sink, and I was like, "Nope, I'm out." And I went straight shiny, and I've never looked back.
How old were you?
28,
wow.
29, somewhere in there.
13 years ago?
Yeah, and it's the look now. But
I'm
this is the thing,
still
I'm locked
holding
in.
on to some hair. At some point, I'm just going to have to be done with it. But at this point, I'm holding on to some hair.
I'm totally locked in at this point. Like I can't go long, I can't go off. It's this
Okay.
or nothing.
There's a pill that comes out tomorrow that grows hair back. There's no side effects, but it costs like $150 a month. Do you do it?
No.
It costs $75 a month.
No.
It's free.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd probably pay money to get all my hair back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think I would.
This is fascinating.
Unashamedly.
I would not, and here's why. I have a hard time remembering to take vitamin C. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to do anything on the regular.
Does your
like
wife
that.
have you on a bunch of supplements?
No,
Just
she
daily?
can't get me to take them because I don't know. I move
The
too fast. I
supplement
move
budget
on.
at the Kilser household is substantial.
You have like a budget line item.
Yes. There's legitimately a supplement line
You're
item.
gonna live forever.
I don't know that I am, though. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. She's like, take these things. I'm like, okay. And so I take them all at once, and I don't even think about it.
You seen that woman that her secret to longevity? She's like 159 years old
She drinks a Dr. Pepper a day.
and smokes a cigar. No, I don't know if she does that, but it's like a Dr. Pepper, like 4 Dr. Peppers a day.
And a Zen. It's a good
And
time.
a Zen. with a light dusting of cocaine. It's like she's living forever.
Yeah.
My grandmother's like that. My grandmother lived next to a dump, like the Corpus Christi dump, for decades. And I think it has preserved her.
How old is Graham Graham?
She's 90. She turns 96 in May.
96.
And it's Nana.
Okay,
To
well,
you, sir. Graham,
I
Graham.
just made a guess with Graham Graham. Nana's going to be 96.
Yeah.
That's
God
no.
bless this woman.
Have you seen these pictures of Clint Eastwood recently?
No.
Clint Eastwood is looking old. Not just like, oh, he's an old man.
Well, he's-
No. He's 93.
Yeah.
He's old.
Man.
Doesn't look like Clint Eastwood anymore. Just old,
I
frail
don't
man.
know that I want to go that long.
Like a light jacket in the TSA.
Yeah.
He would freeze if you took it off.
So my grandmother has something like 20 something great grandkids. She doesn't know all their names. Like I don't. She's like, yeah, this is great.
Does
And I'm
she
like,
does she even write like birthday cards or anything?
No, man, she's 96. Lower your expectations.
I don't know. Nobody in my family. Well, I guess my great grandmother
Get
Hazel.
on it, Nana. Be
My great grandmother Hazel lived to be like 94, 95, but I was very young. I don't have any
She writes you a,
recollection. I have no recollection. I just said I was very young.
birthday card all the time.
No, I don't. I was young. I don't know. I don't have a scrapbook with every birthday card or my
I love
first
this.
hair.
This is going
my
nowhere.
first lock of hair.
Hey, let's go into segment 1. I have a question for you.
Okay, great.
So here's how we do this show, everybody. I come up with a random question for Andrew. Segment 2 is he comes up with a random question for me. And segment 3 is these fine folks behind the camera over here come up with something that neither of us know about. And that's segments 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So there's your format.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's your expectations have been set.
Yeah.
All right, segment 1. Have you heard about? Do you know about the evil snail?
I have heard about the evil snail.
Can I ask you about the evil snail?
You absolutely can.
Okay, here's the premise on the evil snail.
I have a bit on this too.
Do y'all know about this? Okay,
No.
good. All right. By the way, my nephew led me to believe that he created this.
No, this is like an old Reddit thread.
But this is like an old one, yeah. He just took credit, and God bless him, he owned it too. So here's the thing. There is somewhere in the world an evil, intelligent snail,
key.
and it's key. And it, if it touches you, you die. And it is eternal. This snail, it will live forever. Now, it is out to hunt you. As long as you are alive, it is hunting you. Now, the reward here is as long as the snail does not touch you, you have eternal life.
Okay.
All right. So you're constantly trying to get away from this snail and you get to live forever. What do you do to avoid the snail?
Well, I've heard a couple of ways to do this. One, a snail can travel, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of a mile in a day or something based on Reddit math I saw.
Okay.
So, you could just fly to Australia for 6 months and live there and then just fly back to the States and live there for 6 months. But if the snail's intelligent, it can get on transportation.
Yeah.
The questions I've had though came from this weekend. I decided to clean out the backyard. There was some garden stuff from the freeze that my lovely bride had asked me to cover her plants with, and then she didn't pick them up. So I got to pick them up and then clean the things.
Lucky duck.
Yeah, it was great. But there's this tarp, and I was like, I don't want to throw this tarp away. It's still good. And so I took it to the front yard, and I was hosing it off on the driveway. Many, many snails on this thing, and many slugs. They're not fast.
No.
Even if this is like a super intelligent snail, I was wondering, how is it going to communicate information to anyone else? I don't buy it. Also, a garden hose at low pressure can knock it off its balance, and then it just rolls indefinitely. So I'm not really that worried about this. Also, you drop some salt on a snail, it's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, but you kill the snail, and now you have regular life. You're going to die at some point. You lose your
Oh,
It
Oh, the snail has to live
Yeah, the snail
for
has
me
to
to
live for
live?
you to have the y'all are locked. Y'all are locked in this destiny together. And it is more persistent than your average snail.
Why does it want to get me, though?
Because as long as it's hunting you, it gets to live.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, it's evil. It's in its very nature.
Okay, the way I heard this premise was you get $100 million, call it $1 billion, but as soon as you take that money, the snail starts hunting you. If it touches you, it gets eternal life and you die. Do you take the money? So it was this like, do you want this pressure, even for all of the money you could imagine?
I would do it without the money. I want that pressure.
You,
I
you
want to be on my toes.
look. I know how poorly I sleep when there's like anxiety going on in my head, and I'm gonna wake up in the middle of the night thinking about this snail.
Every night you would surround yourself in a witchcraft circle of salt.
Probably.
Yeah.
But then if the snail dies, I don't know that I don't want the pressure of living indefinitely. Do I stay the same age?
I
Or
want it
do
to
I
be my
am I like
choice.
a phoenix? Do
Yeah.
I live a life and then die and then I'm reborn out of the ashes? That's interesting.
Yeah. Would you take that deal?
Phoenix Andrew sounds more appealing than just stay at 27 indefinitely, Andrew.
Would you come out more glorious or just
Absolutely.
as is?
Well, no, then the question becomes if you are Phoenix man, do you retain the knowledge you had from the previous lifetime? We're getting into a whole like other
Now we're
is-
into like Greek mythology.
this
Now we're
whole lives-
creating a new
Yeah,
religion.
this whole live stream got strange.
100 years from now, or maybe 500 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to dig this up and create a whole religion based on the snail and the phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Glorious.
Yeah. No, that is an interesting question that I'm not really that intimidated by a snail. I've seen them. I stepped on one accidentally the other day. I think the most intimidating thing for me, don't read about this if you don't want to get grossed out, but rat lungworm
No,
is a terrifying disorder
no.
that you can get
Just
from
hard
eating a
pass.
snail or a slug
Hard pass.
in your backyard. Yeah, just don't do it.
Man. So you weren't here last week,
I was not.
and things went more serious.
Oh, what'd you talk about?
The equation of happiness is expectations minus reality. And
How does that work out?
typically poorly, because the expectations are constantly normalizing. So like all of a sudden you went from a computer that held 5 megabytes of whatever, and now you're at 50 terabytes. Your happiness hasn't moved because your expectation is like, yeah, I need more space.
Oh,
You know?
yeah.
And so your
So you're
car
saying
goes faster.
if we go from
You're
like a
happy
5
for a minute.
megabyte hard drive and then somebody hands you a 50 terabyte, you're like, oh, this is amazing.
For
But then the
about
next day
2
you're
seconds,
like,
yeah.
okay. It's the theory of you get a new car, and a new car is really exciting and fun for about a month, and
Yep.
then it normalizes,
Yep.
and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and so you can't hold that happiness, that circumstantial happiness.
I will say though, it doesn't fully hold up with a car. I did have to get a new car about 7 months ago now, and
Still thrilled.
yes, not for the same reasons though as when I bought it. When you buy a car, like the smell and just the newness is great,
Yeah.
but not having to worry about the mechanical functions of a vehicle is a really that's more
Yeah.
that's more the place I'm in as a father at this point. Is like, oh, I know I'm paying for this car and there is a cost, but I'm not paying for I'm not stressed about something breaking tomorrow, or is this going to start up?
Yeah.
Which is a concern, or could I take this on a fairly long drive and feel confident I'm going to get there and back without something happening?
Yeah, your expectations had been conditioned over decades.
Over my entire life
yeah,
of driving.
of having to.
So the
cars
happiness is
are
the-
equal fixing.
Yes, the happiness of the car is now, oh, it just works. It's a thing
Yeah.
that works. And rethinking about it, I'm like, I don't know that it would have mattered what vehicle I got. I
Yeah.
would still be thinking, oh, this is great because it works. It's
Mm-hmm.
a functioning thing. Yeah, so that's kind of that's how I've readjusted my happiness with vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week we had Snails.
This week was Snails.
It's a lot more fun.
The other thing about this week is normally I will get some prep from you, and it spurs me on to
There's a little bit of a blind
to
side.
the
I apologize.
mediocrity of what I bring to this episode and show. I'm trying to think of something, but maybe we can go with the segment that the ladies bring, and then I could close us
Let's
out
go.
if I think of
Let's
something.
go.
Well,
Are
hey
y'all
guys.
ready?
Here we are.
Hey, how are you guys this morning?
I had my health potion, so I feel great.
My
Christina is wrapped up in a shawl.
it is really
much
cold
like my
back
Nana.
here. Yeah, just for the public. Tim likes to freeze us out in the deep dark.
You know,
Is what happens. And
Keep
we're
it
wearing
frosty.
sweaters. We're wearing puffer jackets. I've got my snow boots on. Just kidding, but
It's like you have a cooler in the back of your building. It's insulated by
love it
more
back
building.
here.
yeah, this is the Yeti
Yeah.
room.
yeah.
But today, I was sort of just trying to figure out GenX, I think, is what I was doing. And
Quite a
Okay.
conundrum.
so I found a
Even for me.
thread. Yeah. I found a thread on
We're
BuzzFeed.
all scared of Gen X, I think. That's-
Everyone's scared of Gen X. Found a thread that is called 33 Things That Make Gen Xers So Nostalgic. We're probably not going to reach all those 33 things, but it's just a thread of people sharing some nostalgic things about their generation.
I want to just clarify for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, does she understand this?
Do you know that we're not Gen X?
It's what generation are you?
We're fully millennials.
No way.
You're elder millennials.
Fully
Whoa.
millennials.
Okay,
Elder
I saw.
millennials? You think I am?
Are you
No,
calling me like a
I saw-
geriatric millennial?
Okay, this is the problem.
You're the
If you look
rickety
up
millennial.
if you look up generations by year, they're all different. And so I think the one that I found was like 1965 to 1980.
When do you think we were born?
I don't know. Before 1980.
Do you think we're both in our
Oh.
like fully mid 40s?
When were you
Before
born?
I was born in '83.
I was born in 84.
Okay, I was thinking 1980.
You know who is Gen X that is in this building every day? Mark Douglas. He is the most quintessential Gen X person.
See how you're kind of scared
See-
of him and you don't know why?
because
Yeah.
he's Gen X.
Because he's Gen X.
This is also, I was going to say, this is going to expose both of our ages.
He's a
And
GD
I've
teddy bear.
incorrectly exposed your age.
How old are you? 24?
Great guess. Yes. How did you know that?
I'm good at
Because
this game.
we pay attention.
Are you Gen Z or are you
Well-
a millennial?
She's
Gen
Z.
Gen Z.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Well,
part of your cohort.
You're millennial. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. You're barely millennial.
I'm peak millennial.
You were
You're
born in
peak.
91?
90.
90?
There is this weird...
I was alive in the 80s, just not outside of the
Just
womb.
not in the world. Of the world, not in the world.
There's this weird pocket. I think it's from 79 to 85, 86, which is us, which is, I think they even have a name for it. It's like Gen something, XY or something like that. But it's, we grew up without internet. We know what dial-up was. We know what a computer is, but it was
Yeah.
floppy disk computer. So we know both what it is to grow up without it and to grow up with it.
Okay.
So AOL and chat rooms and all that stuff hit right at middle school for me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was kind of part of my development, but not really.
Well, and that's the thing I think that because y'all kind of split the age difference with my siblings, so there's some things I know from your generation, but there's things they know from the generation right before them. So
Right.
I feel like this is still a valid segment.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
if you're
you
not
can go through this list.
technically.
And we can
I'm
talk
happy to
about-
hear this list, and I will give opinions on these things, but I'm not. Some of them will be nostalgic. We'll see.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm Gen Z, but I can relate to millennial generational things. I think it's like there's a bleed through that. This one talks about experiencing the internet. Like you grew up experiencing the internet.
It wasn't
mean-
just there.
Right. It didn't just show up.
I remember getting the internet at my house growing up.
Like on discs.
we've got 3 Gen Xers here at Fidelis.
Is Thaddeus Gen X?
Yeah.
Is Chris Gen X?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would have thought Chris was a boomer.
Okay, well then,
Oh, harsh. Jeez.
I'm just kidding,
Wow.
Chris. I don't.
then these might be questions. But my first question would be: did you ever have to call for the time and the temperature?
I mean, 411 was a thing, and I usually called for phone numbers, directions, and movie times.
Movie times
Movie
for
times.
sure.
Directions.
I kind of remember movie times.
To get movie times,
Actually,
you either
yeah.
had to find the paper, which would get most houses would get it delivered every day, and there was just a page where every theater in your area would list out times, and sometimes your dad would have thrown the paper away. So then you
Yeah.
have to call and you have to go. You have to listen to everything they're saying.
Man,
And you have
do
to have a
remember
pen to write it
calling.
Welcome
down.
to Movie Phone.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like.
it's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Watch
The
Mojo
Little
is what it
Mermaid.
sounds like.
It's playing at 6:30. Yeah, that whole thing.
So, did you have to carry a dictionary and thesaurus in your backpack in college?
Oh, and they charged you for
In
411.
college?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
I did not have a laptop in college. I did intentionally build a desktop. I built a computer for college, which was super nerdy.
I had
But
a roommate who did that.
yeah,
I thought he was rad. I was like, you're smart.
I thought I was super cool too. But no, computers were very present in college.
Yeah.
Carrying a dictionary.
Where I
or
was
thesaurus.
downloading illegally
Oh, for sure.
Malcolm in the Middle episodes.
Lots of movie
All of them.
downloads.
Yeah.
Pirating.
I learned later in life that one of my distant cousins was on that show for 2 seconds.
Oh.
Man, that's
She's
got
famous.
that whole show has dark backstories. I
Do
don't
you
wanna-
two know the name of the service Napster?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was high school for me.
My dad's
Yeah,
a
middle
music
school.
producer though, so that was high
yeah.
treason in our
Yeah.
house.
Sure.
So I was the good girl that never
That never did those things.
did that because I was so scared.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, maybe this is just me revealing way too much, but I definitely went through a piracy phase of life
Should you be saying
before
this live?
conviction.
I
before
bet
got
I bet you looked
convicted.
great in an eye patch.
Yeah.
Yar.
Good one.
That's the second time eye patches have come up this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did get quite a few movies from you though, just on a little thumb drive.
Yeah.
Did you
I actually
guys
got taken down because of you. I don't know if you know this.
I don't know this.
You
you?
said to me, "Hey, you really need to watch The West Wing."
The West Wing
Yeah.
that you busted?
And so I came out of retirement. I came out of piracy
It's a great show.
retirement because
It's a
I
great
couldn't
show.
find it anywhere.
For the one last job.
And so I was like, I'm going to pull one last job. I'm going to get all the seasons. And yeah, it was literally,
big
I'm
last
going to pull
job.
one
And
last
your
job.
ISP saw it on your network or something?
Yeah, it was like that week that Pirates Bay went down and Kim.com and all that
Kim.com.
stuff. And our internet service provider sent me a cease and desist and a fine. And I was like, still cheaper than getting the whole season off of Netflix. So I was like, I paid it happily.
And you're still
I've not
holding that
touched it
against me,
since.
it seems.
No, I just thought it was funny. It was connected to you.
Okay.
It was just like, and I watched season 1 and I was like, this isn't that great.
Gosh. You and okay, we'll discuss this later. What's
So,
next?
at what point in your life did your cars start having automatic windows?
Since birth. My gosh.
Really? We had our first cars were rolly windows.
I remember rolly windows, but then my
You
parents
must have been
bought
rich.
a Dodge conversion van. Okay, it was a Chupp and Sons conversion van. I think they're still in business. It had curtains, it had a cooler. We had a
Oh,
TV
yeah.
in the van early
And
on.
the back seat would lay down
The back
into a
seat
bed.
would lay down into a full bed. But I do remember that van had automatic windows.
Yeah.
My grandpa had that van. We grew up with that, with a Chevy curtain van. It had a TV in the back.
I had
Yep.
friends who had that van, and that's where I learned about the Three Amigos.
Oh.
We watched it on their tiny little
I was
TV.
thinking
Yeah, we
of
had like a
Three
little
Caballeros.
little 4-inch screen. It was
baller.
great.
That was
Yeah.
baller.
The VCR
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah.
We had like a 12-disc CD changer. My first CD was New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
Hang Tough.
Wow.
Michael W. Smith, Hey Kids.
Oh,
There was an animated cat on it. Yeah.
I love that.
The okay, so on the rolly window thing, my first truck was really old. I had a 1974 Dodge D100 that my dad had won at auction for like $200, and it had rolly windows,
That's
and it
awesome.
had the high beams on the floor. I love
You
that
remember
truck.
Rosie?
Yeah,
Why did you guys get rid of Rosie?
couldn't get her started.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Tim and his brother Mark used to have this old. Was it a Ford?
Yeah, it was an F100.
It was an old F100 that kind of ran, but it was a great
Periodically.
just do whatever you need to do truck.
Yeah,
And so you could just borrow. Hey Tim, can I borrow
it was
Rosie?
like it was like crowdsourced truck.
Yeah, if you just
Yeah.
put like $20 in gas in it, it was good to go.
Yeah,
I ran over my cell phone once in Rosie. It was a
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah,
God bless her.
she gave and she took away.
Yeah,
Poor Rosie. I two more questions. One more question.
let's
what
go two.
Okay.
We got 5 more minutes on this live
Alrighty.
stream.
There was something said about there was always threat of nuclear war.
What? We're talking
Or
like
is
Bay
that
of Pigs?
Is that more?
That's
more
way
Gen X?
that's way before our time.
That's pretty old.
I did have a conversation the other day though with your brother who is Gen X. I remember when Operation Desert Storm happened. We were in our the front room of our house where we never watched anything, but my dad was like glued into the U.S. forces going into Iraq.
Yeah, I also have really vivid memories of watching that on TV that night.
We were like 6 or 7 years
Yeah.
old when all that went down.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was way over my head. I just thought this is cool.
I remember being nervous.
Yeah.
I was also the kid though that got really scared I had Ebola because I watched a lot
Yeah,
of the news growing up.
and Outbreak.
Yeah. I watched a lot of the
Yeah.
news, and one day my mom was like, "We're not watching the news anymore. This bothers
probably a
you."
good
I'm
call.
like, "Yeah, that's a good call, Mom."
Yeah.
Thing is like the threat of nuclear war hasn't gone anywhere. It's just gotten quieter.
Yeah, I feel like it's
But
always been there.
definitely still there.
These guys with the doomsday clock really want to make it a thing.
Yeah, 30 minutes to midnight.
No, it's like 24 seconds to midnight.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to look it up. Bring up the last thing. I'll tell you how close we are to midnight.
It's not going to be good news. I can tell you right now.
Uh-oh.
They've never been like, you know what?
Especially
It's
without
only like
eclipse.
3 o'clock. We're fine.
It's 90 seconds to midnight.
What does this even mean?
It's just ridiculous. It's these guys who are like... they're-
Midnight is death.
Presumably, these are like world leaders that are like,
They're atomic scientists. 1984. I mean, it's been going for a long time. When I was
Alright.
born, well, I think
Alright.
this is useful information for no
Alright.
one but me. In 1984, we were 3 minutes to midnight. We've only got
Okay.
90 seconds closer to midnight. I don't feel like this is really that big of an issue. 81. This is dumb.
all right, hit me with your last question.
91. George H.W. Bush had a 17 minutes to midnight. We were killing it. Sorry, go ahead.
This one, yes.
Yeah. it's the
So-
last one.
Now that we understand what your real age is, this may not be applicable. There was a comment about always having a pencil in the car for cassette tapes. Do you have
Oh, yeah,
any
that's
idea
true.
what that is?
Oh, yeah.
That's
100%.
beyond me.
Beyond me.
This one is vivid. I mean, cassette tapes CD players in cars didn't start really being a thing until like
The 90s.
high school, yeah, college. So you would have cassette players in your. Mark still get the Volvo out there, by the way. You can go play some cassettes.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had cassettes growing
But
up,
it's like
but
you stick the
I
pencil
don't-
in there and you wind it
If it-
to the
Oh.
song
if
that you
the
want.
you can get to the song, or if the tape
What?
comes out, you can rewind it in. Sometimes the tape would get eaten.
I used to
so
do
you
that
have
with
to-
my pinky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yeah,
You can put it on your pinky and like.
but it hurts after too long.
That is true. I never knew you could force it to go to a song though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
really
if you
cool.
look in the little window,
Yeah.
there's timestamps.
The things that are really like
Brilliant.
super nostalgic to me in the vein you're talking about are like AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah,
You get on, you're like,
feels
are
so
any of my
90s.
friends online? And then there would be nobody, and you're like, well, I guess I'm not doing anything on Friday night.
Did you ever go into the AOL chat rooms?
Absolutely not. I was too scared. Also, though,
Yeah.
TGIF was a big thing in
Oh,
my
come
childhood.
on.
Yeah, right?
TGIF was so good.
Yeah.
It was like 3 hours of back-to-back awesome.
Yeah. And then, did you ever watch Walker Texas Ranger?
Well, you're
on
not talking
Saturday
about the
night?
restaurant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I was thinking.
What's
No,
TGIF?
not TGIF.
Thank
the
goodness it's
restaurant.
Friday. It was
No, I know what it
It
stands
was
for, but what is it?
ABC's shows on Friday
It was
nights.
their power lineup. Later in life, they switched off of Fridays to Thursdays.
Lame.
And so Thursday would be like Friends and Seinfeld, and the powerhouse shows would be on Thursday.
But Friday night was the big time for a while.
That was where like Step by Step and
Growing Pains was
Growing
TGIF.
Pains,
You guys
Full,
are like 90s kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like actual 90s kids. Kids who say that they're 90s kids are typically born in the 90s.
Yeah.
No, you don't remember anything until the early 2000s.
I got 6 months of the 90s stored away. Those were some nostalgic years.
So what are you, a millennial?
I'm
No,
I'm-
see
You
how
only
offensive it
lived-
is. when you
You
miss-
only lived
No, but I
6
forget.
months in the 90s?
yeah.
Wow.
99. 6
What,
months.
what would you call this? Miss generation me?
Yeah, I misgeneration
you
you guys. I'm really
misgeneration
sorry for
me.
misaging you and misgeneration you.
Golly.
I accept your apology.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll, we'll move forward. We'll move past this together.
We'll forget it and never watch this live stream ever
Hey,
again.
thank you all three for being here and for live streaming things with us. And for everybody out there, God bless. Have a good week. We'll see y'all next week.